There's always a story to tell. And I think for me, I want to get more into that creative craft of storytelling. And I think that we're doing like a great job, especially being on a public platform. Like, I'll tell y'all, I'll be selling this podcast like a mixtape out my front. Like, oh, you not following the Fresh Gems? Let me link you real quick. And just talking to more people about it, people being able to recognize, like, oh yeah, you the Fresh Gems, like, girl. And I'm like, yes, I am. Like, come follow, like, come this way if you're trying to get your life.
This is we like to call it our mid-season episode. This is our check-in episode. We just want to have an episode where we're just kind of talking to you all. And I know that we haven't had an episode in a while where it's just the four of us talking about a certain topic. We're usually having a discussion with a guest. So we thought it would be a really good idea for us to just bring it back to old times. And, we're mainly going to talk about our experience building our brand, building the First Gems, kind of the things that we faced and how we've grown. Because a lot of people on social media, they're seeing all of the produced things. And I think it's really important. We all think it's really important to show how we got there. We've gotten so much positive feedback and we're super grateful for that. We also want to make it known that, none of this is easy and we're all cousins, but even working together as cousins isn't always easy. It's fun, but it's not always peaches and rainbows or whatever they say. What the kids say?
Lollipops and...
What? I ain't never heard of
drops.
Drops and rainbows?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Peaches and cream. No.
That's
okay, well,
topic.
That was so aggressive.
Yeah, I think it's good if this is our check-in episode. Let's check in with each other. Like, how are y'all doing? How are y'all feeling? But like real, we don't need to sugarcoat things. Just tell it like it is. Like, how are you feeling right now in this present moment?
Ooh, I could go first. I don't know if y'all ever been in a fight before.
What?
But last year was a trying year. This year, it was like we was fighting just get back to where, we have to be. So I feel like it's the fourth quarter of the year and we just I feel like I'm at the end of a fight. Like you just fought through like some stuff and you have a little bit of fight left in you. So you just keep going. You kind of feel a little bit defeated because 2021 was kind of trying too, and it was challenging too, but you're at the end, so you're like, I got this, I could win. Like, I know it, like I got a little bit in me. So lately I just been working a lot and it's kind of draining, but I have that fight in me. Like I still want to keep going, and yeah.
So are we fighting with you? Are we like, what are we recording? Like, what are we doing?
Oh, why would y'all record the fight? Y'all supposed to think. Like, if I'm getting jumped.
Pack up my wig and put it to the side because if somebody come for my questions, it's gonna have to be soon.
Right? Yeah.
I'm in the trenches. I'm with you.
Thank you. Yes. Somebody know what to do.
How would we really be in a fight? I wonder. We're not aggressive people, but
we're not.
Sometimes you just gotta.
Honestly, when it comes, I'm like you said, I'm not an aggressive person. I'm very chill, very relaxed. But when it comes to family, people know not to come for family. Like there's been a time where somebody said something about Kalaria, I was like, pull up. What's that?
Yeah.
I was ready to go. I think that's my trigger because I'm like, nobody's about to play with my family. Period. Yeah. I'm always on go when it comes to family.
Yeah, she really is.
I am.
I've been through my little tribulations and you just
Serena been through some stuff and I'm like, we gotta fight. Yeah. I'm ready.
I definitely feel what you're saying. That's super real. I guess for me, I feel in this moment, I feel a little bit complacent. If I could think about where I'm at, I'm kind of comfortable, but I don't feel like I'm necessarily growing as much as maybe I would like to. I just think maybe professionally more. I haven't been challenging myself at my job or anything. So in a way, I feel like, dang, I need to switch things up, at least for the start of the new year, you know? So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that. Like, I need to press refresh button.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that too. Like, I don't know. I'm just ready for new everything. When I tell you I'm ready for just like, I'm just so anxious right now. And I think being in the pandemic, being home more, you get to sit with your thoughts a lot. And having that pressure of just sitting with myself is really like lighting a fire under me. And I feel like that too. Like, I just want to be in a new environment, meet new people. I want to grow. I want to elevate. And like, I think change is scary, but also change is really, really good. And I think that's where I am mentally. I just feel a lot of pressure in different ways. And partly that could even be pressure that I'm putting on myself. So I'm definitely moving into the new year, trying to make my plate lighter, not saying that I'm going to be doing less. I just want to work smarter, not harder at this point.
Yeah.
Because being burnt out is
not it.
Yeah. And it's not it at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I mean, I'm also not a fighter, but I think to channel some of that energy, like passion and aggression and just like focus, because you know, when you're fighting, you targeted your enemy.
Right.
And I think for me, like, I take some of those elements. Right now, I'm just juggling a lot with school, with work, with like just everything, right? So I feel like I'm on a countdown to a new chapter, and I'm just aggressively working towards closing one chapter and opening another. So I'm also trying to do that smartly. Like, I'm not trying to burn myself out, which is just very much like traditionally a part of the process, right? They're like, work hard and see your results. And I'm like, I'm gonna work smart and still have some energy to enjoy myself. So trying to balance everything has been super important for me right now, because when you have a lot of moving parts and you just feel like you're in 10 places at once, you just need something to ground you. And for me, it's the podcast. It's the First Gems. Like, we're a continuum inside and outside of like the work roles that we have, just checking in like this is good and knowing that we're building something and it's like a long-term product. So I think this is a great check-in episode to talk about it.
Yeah, that's one thing too that I've really, I mean, we're going to get into talking about how we felt growing this brand. But one thing that I have really enjoyed is like talking to you guys more often, because I feel like there was a period, I think when we were all in college, like doing our own stuff, where it was kind of like we were all just doing our own thing and like not really talking like that. And it would be here and there, but it wouldn't be as often as it is now. So.
Yeah. Or it'll be like, you know, 2 people get really close and then like, or 3 people, and then everyone's still living their separate lives. So I definitely think that this brand has helped connect us and evolve our relationship. So I'm really grateful for that too. I thought that was a good thing to point out.
Yeah.
I think one cool example would be, or like the obvious example would be like us being able to actually plan trips together.
Yes.
On the brand, but also like, hey, we'll see you soon. Like, hey. And I think that's really good for me because, you know, I'm on the other side of the country and like different time zone and everything. So it's just, you know, it's just nice to be like, okay, I mean, I don't see y'all every weekend, but we just booked the flight to XYZ, let's go. So, and then it's cool to be able to be like, we're also content creators. So we're having a good time, but we're also keeping in mind like, oh, this could work for our brand. Like this works with our aesthetic. Make sure we take a picture with these people. Make sure we go to this country next. Or like all these things that we have been talking about in the past, like, wow, I wish I could travel more and do this more. Like we're actually doing that, but also for the purpose of the brand. So I think we were just very creative and like innovative with trying to blend all of our different things that we like to do and put it towards our business.
Do you think we would have like been not motivated, but do you think we would have taken action to take all these trips together recently if we didn't have this brand?
Well, I would have booked. No, just kidding.
I would have booked.
Yeah, I feel like we had in the past, like, for example, when we went to DR for Jada's birthday, like, I feel like we have in the past been like, at least attempting to plan things together. I don't know if maybe it would have been executed as urgently or whatever, but I think that like, that's definitely a thing that we've always at least had interest in doing together. So yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's been a catalyst because like even things by, you know, things that were just our obligation to go back home. Okay, yeah, I know I'm gonna see you in Nigeria every other December. Yeah. But now we have things to build on that. Like it's almost like we have our vision board collectively and we're just checking things off. Like, and I don't know, personally for me, it's like, okay, I wanna outdo myself when it comes to travel goals. And it would be great to do that on my own. I could definitely do that, but it's even better to like be with a group and like be with y'all to do that.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. I think it's the same thing.
And I can say because of the brand, like I've kind of been traveling with a different lens. So like when I go, it's not about just, oh, where the party at? Like, like I'm looking like, oh, like, is there a museum I can go to? Or like, oh, is there like somewhere I can go to where I can like really immerse myself with, you know, the local people here? Or like, is there the favorite food here that I need to try? Like, you know, like just trying to figure out more of like what exactly I'm experiencing in this place in terms of like the perspective of the people that live there. So yeah, I think that before I was kind of thinking that, but like not as intently as I do now when I go places.
I agree.
First Gem's influence.
Ooh.
Huh?
That is so good with the wordplay. Like I definitely feel the same too. And even sharing these moments with other people too and inspiring other people to travel with a different lens as well. Because, you know, going and turning up is fun, but also too traveling with a purpose. I think Anna said it on our episode. Yeah, like I think like that's definitely something different that I probably wouldn't have thought of until we started taking trips together, you know, because you think of trips and they still are as a getaway, like a portion of self-care, like releasing your mind, but also too, like, how are we going to make an impact there and here? So yeah, that has to be like a part of my travel plans now, when I'm going to a different country.
Yeah, there's always a story to tell. And I think for me, I want to get more into that creative craft of storytelling. And I think that we're doing like a great job, especially being on a public platform. Like, I'll tell y'all, I'll be selling this podcast like a mixtape out my front. Like, oh, you not following the Fresh Gems? Let me link you real quick. And just talking to more people about it, people being able to recognize like, oh yeah, you the Fresh Gems, like, girl. And I'm like, yes, I am. Like, come follow, like, come this way if you're trying to get your life. So I think it's been really cool seeing the support from like our friends and our own separate communities coming together as one big Fresh Gem community. And people really like supporting and sticking beside and be like, oh, I listened to this episode. People will be telling me about like our season 1 episodes. And I'm like, are you really listening?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, the hype motivates me. Like, I love it. And as much as like our vision and what we're working towards motivates me as well, it's really nice to hear people say like, you're doing a good job, keep doing it. Yeah. Or, I really like that y'all did this. Or like, wow, I'm so impressed. Like, I'm starting to realize like affirming words, you know, that might be up there in my love languages. Cause I'm like, oh, somebody said this was fireless. We got to keep on going. And I think that's the main thing. Like, no matter how hard it gets, we have to just keep on going. Like, we have to keep creating, keep sharing stories. And, you know, we may not see like something go viral now, but we know that what we're doing now is creating an impact, and we will get the fruits of our labor.
Amen.
Soon, you know, very soon.
Nothing happens overnight.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is for y'all, but it's like the growth for me. Like I catch myself every now and again, like going back on our Instagram and going to like our very first post and seeing like when we first launched, and then just seeing like the way that we've developed like over the past year, or just how we've improved the way that we work with each other, and we've improved like our aesthetic. It's just like different things that we've like worked and tweaked on. And it's just like that growth. And it's very hard to have several different moving parts and just different opinions and different styles of work, and like to put it all together and create like something to put out there. And it really looks great. Like, and like you said, like the words of affirmation, like it's just like, okay, we worked so hard, and it's really amazing that people appreciate what we did. So I love just looking back at all the memories and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, we need to make a scrapbook or something.
That part, like, I love looking back too. And it definitely shows me lessons in other things too. Like, okay, like you could start something, but it doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to keep iterating this thing, making it better. But the most important thing is to not stop. And the First Gems has been more than just like us putting out a podcast. Personally, for me, it's more of like, you know, me showing myself, and I'm sure all of us showing ourselves that if we just keep going at something, like we're going to get better. And don't be afraid to put out something that you really want to do. Because you're only going to grow and glow, but you're not going to see that growth or glow if you stop.
Yeah. And I think too, we're getting like a sense of professional development, because I feel like within my field of work and how I work with primarily like interdisciplinary teams, international teams, like fast-paced environment. So when we do sit down and sit in our weekly meetings, it's like, okay, I'm also getting that discipline. I'm learning stuff in marketing, I'm learning stuff in graphic design. Like I'm building myself as a professional too with this brand. And I feel like you said, it's the growth for me, because I feel like, okay, I have these tools and these skills now, like hard, soft, technical, whatever they use in the professional world. But I'm like, okay, I see it. Like we sit down, we have our meeting, we have our agenda, we go through our bullet list. Like it's actual work that goes into the First Gems. And you're right, like we have different work styles, but it's been cool also learning that, because they sometimes are different from like our personality. So it's been new for me to see that within all of us, of like, okay, this is how you work, but then it's like, all right, I'm gonna see you at 10 at the turn up later. Like just balancing all of that while being very familiar with each other, but still it just reminds me that there's just so much to a person. Like, and I think it's just beautiful that we're able to like create one product, like you said, and just put it out there for people to also get a piece of it. So
accountability is very big. We know that if we're going to be late, or if we're going to miss something, it's going to affect like everybody else. So it's just learning respect of other people's time, and like you kind of take into account like, dang, if I don't get up at this time, I'm gonna be late for this recording. Like it's helped me to have more respect for like our brand. In the beginning, it was like, okay, we're just doing this, it's fun. But like as time goes on and we have hard deadlines for each other, we have expectations, it's like we're setting the bar higher for each other. And it's just like a level of accountability.
I definitely agree with that too. And I want to get back into what you said, Jada, about like there's a lot of moving parts. And let's get really candid with people too. Like, what are these moving parts? What are some of the things? Anna mentioned some of the things that we do. Like a lot of people are seeing the produced final thing, but one promo clip that we put on Instagram have so many different moving parts that people see, you know? So they are those like weekly meetings that we have. We have 2 meetings in a week. Like we meet twice a week. And even then we feel like it's not enough. Like we feel like we're not able to get in all the things that we need to get in just those 2 meetings, but people will never know that we're meeting twice a week. We didn't just come up with the episode from thin air. So everyone touch on like, you know, what are some of those moving parts that people don't see?
Okay, well, here's the one-on-ones on how to build a bomb-ass podcast. Because I think you're right. There's just been so much. And I think because it's been gradual that we haven't really stopped and thought about like where we started from, which was just a phone conversation, to where we are now. I think it takes all of our individual creative lenses and like expertise, right? Our little backgrounds that we have of different ideas for aesthetic, for networking, for outreach, for anything, right? But I think one thing that really has helped us is having external support. So shout out to our video editor who is day in and day out connected with us and really supporting us, because I think there's so much that we could do, but then there was a point of us wanting to grow and have a growth mindset that we were like, all right, let's invest. Let's invest in outside help. Let's get, let's get insight from professionals in these specific fields. And let's just make the commitment to invest. So we have our own individual ways that we're keeping each other accountable and how we're growing financially. So that's one big part, getting that external help.
Even to touch on that was a process in itself, because for a while, there was a thing where it's like, oh, where's this? Where's the episode? Where's the episode? But it was like, that was a whole process, even trying to find an editor and try to find, someone that could do what we wanted to create the vision that we wanted. So definitely, if there's a challenge would be that we had to, find someone to do the work that we wanted done in a timely manner. Because a lot of people be saying they could do this, do that, but then it's like, when it really comes down to it, where you at? Like, where can I see some work? Like, so.
I wanted to say, like, just getting into the groove of how everybody works. Like, everybody has different schedules, demanding, busy lives. Then there's different time zones. And it's like, okay, we have to fit in time. Like, when is everybody available? Little windows and pockets here and there. And then just like, at first, like the first season, we were just going whenever anybody was available, we were recording like that. But now we have a different style where we're like, it's just like we're pumping out more content because we changed up our style. And that was like, just like a lesson learned. So, also, like, when we don't agree on stuff, it's like, okay, well, how are we gonna confront this? Because it's an even number. It's 4. So it's like 2 people could agree and 2 people won't. Or it could be like 3 on 1. It's kind of like, dang, like, what do we do here? So we kind of had to figure out ways internally, like how we're going to deal with conflict, or just if someone is feeling kind of left out or just kind of like out the loop. Like, I'm not really that techie of a person. And, Kalari and I feel like you guys are the most like techie. And I'm like, wait, hold on. What's this? Like, I feel all old. Like, hold on. Like, what's this? So, like, just learning, like, having to keep up and just not letting somebody down because you didn't figure something out.
Yeah. I would definitely say, like, all of our abilities collectively have grown working on this podcast. And I think, and we didn't even anticipate this, but we all have different skill sets that help us grow together. And I think that, sometimes it may be easier if we all knew everything that we all know, but I think there's times where, like, Anna may know something that I'm like, I have no idea what the heck this is, but that's how we're able to grow. Jada knows something and that, that Kalaria may not know. And that's how we're able to move it forward too, because we all have very different skill sets and like Anna said, working styles. And this was like interesting to see how we all like work together and how we all collaborate together and the different ideas. We are all very creative. So I feel like that's been like a way to boost up the type of content that we are producing. But like Jada said, it is also a challenge too when we all want different things. So it's like, how do we determine, okay, like, this is the thing that we're moving forward with. So I definitely would say another moving part that no one sees, but that was a challenge for us for a while, was project management. Like, there was a time where it's like, okay, we had all these things we wanted to do, but we didn't have like one central place where we were tracking the things that needed to be done. So every week it kind of was just like, oh yeah, we want to do this. Oh yeah, we wanted to do this, until we came up with the system where we could have a list of everything that we need to do and get done. And we put due dates, everything. So by next meeting, this needs to get done, this needs to get done. And that's really helped us move forward in my opinion too. And now that we're investing more, we need to track the stuff that we're spending money on.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a challenge I like to call out.
Yeah, and that's evident with our season 2 rollout, with our different challenges that we've been doing, just our upgrades to social media, the website, like all of those things were things that started off as concept bubbles, and project management, we were able to put it out. I think going back a bit to the scheduling, I think it was just so funny. Like season 1, we were just like, all right, you free? All right, let's do this. Let's hop on the call. And then season 2, we were like, we cannot do this with a guest. Like,
yeah,
we have an outside person going, hold on, girl, I'm gonna call you in 5 minutes. Like, I'm almost ready. Like, no, we had to send the calendar invite, type up an email template. Like, we're professionals, okay?
Yeah.
We've been gotten compliments on that too. Like, wow, this presentation is like really, really good. Like, y'all really have your stuff together. Meanwhile, in the background, we're like,
a half an eyelash on, like.
Right.
No, but yeah, I agree.
That helped us become more professional with each other. Because I think that's another thing. When you're having a business with family, and you could be very casual and very like, Chelsea, like, you'll get to it. Yeah, she got it. But like really putting things in place and having some structure, like I think we're just growing from that. So
wow, yeah. I never even like sat to think about that, the evolution. Like we really was just on the phone. Like sometimes people have phone issues, like, oh, I don't know, we're trying to record. And then poor Tanita had to be trying to like piece together the recordings for the audio stuff. Yeah.
And that's why we're like, oh, let's upgrade to external help. Because even us trying to do everything ourselves, like it slows down our process too. So the more people we could get to help with us, obviously, like, you know, we need more funds to be able to invest in more outside help. But the system that we have going right now, like definitely helps us. And yeah, before it was a struggle, but it was also easier because we weren't on video. So it's like easier to like manipulate the sound, piece things together. But
and
like,
we didn't have guests.
Yeah, and we didn't have guests. So yeah. And we could like take an episode anywhere because we didn't have to worry about how we're looking, how it sounds and things like that. So
one of the very many things I've learned while working with the First Gems is investment. Like you hear it, you see it all the time, like the little memes, like invest in yourself. But once we really started like, you know, doing our thing, investing in our brand, that's when you really do see the results. Like people weren't just saying that for a reason, but I've seen the pros of investing in our brand. And it's amazing.
Yeah. I also think that could be a challenge too, because as much as, you know, we can put out our money to make things happen, it's definitely been a relief, like friends and family, like helping to support us financially. Because to be real, like all this stuff, like every episode that we put out and just different things that we're trying to do costs money. And like, I think in the beginning, I underestimated that how much money things actually cost, like to produce things. So even something like as the website, like that costs money to produce the episode, that costs money to put out products, that costs money. So That's definitely been a challenge. So if y'all want to cash at me. But for real though, like that is a way, if you're trying to support a friend, like, and support a brand, like, money really helps. To be candid, to be real, like it really helps. And it really helps, like, people elevate their brands, or really, especially a small brand, you know? So I definitely like that you called that out, Jada, because I think that's been something that's like a challenge for us too. Like, okay, well, we got to apply for stuff to get money or something.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be a reason for people to not get started, because that is a reason that a lot of people don't get started with doing things that they want to do. Because they're like, oh, I don't have the money to do this. But like we said earlier on in the episode, like, we started off really modest and we weren't putting money in it. So I think, that is a challenge, but a way to overcome it is to just get started and, like, you know, and see where it takes you. And then even after you get started, you have more of a clear vision as to, like, what you need to put money towards, you know? So it's not like, oh, I need to grab all this money and then figure out a business. No, it's like, start the business or start the idea. And then as you go, you'll figure out, oh, okay, I need more money here. Or, oh, I don't need money here. I can actually do this myself. You know what I mean? So
that's a good tip. Like, differentiate the things that you can do yourself versus the things that you need to outsource for. Because that will make a difference in what you need.
I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I'm referring to you guys, like, oh, I'm with my cousin, I usually just be like, I'm with the First Gems right now. Like, I don't even be calling y'all. I'm like, oh, I'm on a phone call with the First Gems. Call me back. Like,
I say like, oh, I'm meeting with the Gems. Like,
and people respect it. They're like, okay.
Yeah, they know we need business. Like, they know we need business, and they know, like, we have things that we're actually need.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. Wow.
Yeah, and some of my friends, like, they're like, oh, like, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were referencing, like, oh, are you gonna be somewhere with the Gems? I'm like, matter of fact, yeah, I am. Yeah, because they were asking me if I'm gonna come home to Nigeria, and I'm like, yeah, the Gems will be there.
I love it. We need like a banner, a welcome banner.
Right.
Book the Gems now.
Right.
Since y'all getting familiar with us.
That part.
So we take ourselves very seriously, which I think it shows, like you said. The support has been beautiful.
I feel like we touched on navigating, like, difference of opinions, but, like, does anyone have a specific instance that they can think of where it's like, you know, there was something that maybe they really wanted to get done for the brand, and then, like, we kind of had to figure out how to accommodate it, or kind of just say, no, sorry. Like, do you know what I mean?
I think it's with every episode. Like, we all have different ideas for how the episode's edited, or actually, no, with titles, I think we all pretty much, like, come to a mutual agreement. I think we see that every time we release the episode. Like, there's times where it's like, okay, like, she may want a part for the hook, she may want another part for the hook, or she may think this promo makes sense, she may think this promo makes sense. So I think that's one of the instances I can think of.
Yeah.
So, but then how do we figure out, like, how do we make a decision if everyone has different?
A lot of it is creative differences. And one thing that I learned way back when from some old mentor was, like, fail fast. Like, just put out the idea, say it out.
That's what I be saying.
And then it's out of the four of us. If it sticks, then we keep it and we move on. Like you said, with our titles, like, we're usually just like, oh, this sounds cool. And then that works. But I think, like, we get stuck on parts where we're all just, I think, thinking too hard about what decision to make, when it's like, no, fail fast. Like, it's fine. Like, let's do a speed round of ideas. If you don't have an idea, then that's perfect too. But just, like, us having our meeting times and specifying, okay, this is going to be a thinking meeting, this is going to be a working meeting. Like, that helps us to just know, okay, personally, if you go in with an idea and you are very, very passionate about it, sell it. Because we're all open to hear. And then if it doesn't work out, it's fine, because that's what we do. We create. So there's always going to be an opportunity for us individually to see something that we had an original thought on produced. And then there's other ways that we could either have something that we come in mind into a meeting, and then it gets tweaked a little, or it's like modified to fit the group. But that's what it's supposed to be, you know?
Yeah.
So I think just going into things as a speed round, but also keeping intentionality like at the forefront really helped us move forward. Because
I think a big part of that too is like not taking things personally, like when you're working together, because, okay, you have 10 ideas and only 2 of them everyone agrees on. So I think that's a really big part that's helped us too. If we make a constructive criticism for each individual, like on each other, not taking that to heart, not taking that personally. And I think one of the things that's helped us make decisions is us being able to tie it back to our mission and tie it back to our vision. So if you are building a brand, having a mission and a vision is very important, because that's going to help you make decisions too, because you're going to see, oh, does this align with what we're even doing? Or does this align with what we intended this to be? And I think that's been, since we don't have a 5th person, but I think that's been our 5th deciding factor. Like our 5th person is our brand. Like, does this resonate? Does this make sense with what we're trying to do? Does it fit the things that we've already done? Is it elevating what we've already done? Or is it like
completely random?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I like that you said that, Tanina, because that's one of the things that I had to keep reminding myself, like, oh, they're not against me. Like, just because my idea didn't, make it, like, just come with a better idea, or what I had to kind of in my head, I'm like, okay, sometimes people might not get exactly what is in your head. Like, it's also your job to bring that, like, to life and make it make sense to other people. Like, it may make sense to you and you just want to do it and you want everybody to just get it, but you also have to take that extra step to help everybody understand like exactly what you're trying to do and how we can bring it to life. And then at the end of the day, it's like, it's all love. Like, we're all family, like, so I'm like, they're not out to get me. They're not just shooting me down. They're not like, I didn't want, it gets emotional because when you like work with each other, you're like, dang, bro, I thought you had my back. Like, what's this? Like, what? You gonna do me like that? But you have to separate that. So it's like it's a constant like push and pull type of thing, but you have to maintain like, okay, we're doing this for a bigger purpose. They all still love me. It's just that my idea probably didn't really register, or like, I don't know. But that was like a lesson learned.
Yeah. I like that you said that too. I think you just made me think of another challenge. I think my personal challenge too would be like having to be stern sometimes. That's not in my natural nature. I even feel like I struggle with that in my actual job, but my job kind of helps me bring that. A lot of the skills that I learned in my job helps me bring that into what we're doing here. So I think, I don't want to speak for y'all, but it seems like it could be a challenge for all of us too, like having to be stern with each other, because we love each other so much. We're close. We don't want to hurt each other's feelings, but in order to get things done, like we've all had instances where we had to be stern with each other. Like, okay, well, this needs to get done, or we're not going to be able to put out the episode, or we need to be on time so that we can talk about this, or I have a hard out. Y'all said we were starting at 6. We started at 6:30. That's your fault, So yeah. I think that's really a big thing. Like with season 1, it was a lot easier. As we said, it was more casual, like on the fly. Like we kind of didn't really have structure, but now moving into a more structured, like era of content that we're putting out, like we really have to be on each other so that we can get things done and move things forward. And I think it's made us all stronger professionally and creatively. Yeah. Because we know we have guests now and we're going to be moving into like partnerships in the future. So we just can't be slacking.
Like a Basil.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I still think that we create we're on our way of creating a great equilibrium where we're working hard and playing hard. And I personally, I don't want to lose that essence of having fun and just being myself, which I think we're still holding on to. And, remember when the Cheetah Girls broke up and like
what in the world?
There was a lot going on. I don't want to be like the Cheetah Girls. So
we will never be like that.
Crazy that you said Cheetah Girls because we really was trying to be the Cheetah Girls.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
2003.
the Cheetah Girls are over. Like it's just not gonna be here. I mean, I just see us doing so much more and just being on such a big scale that it's great for us to catch these things as we're building, right?
Yeah.
And really nip things in the bud, like really defining our work styles. And I think there's some quizzes that we could take too that like teach you your working style or your like whatever thing, compatibility.
Yeah.
And just working on that, working on our guests and interacting with external people, working on applications and cycles for cool opportunities for podcasters, and just continue to put ourselves out there, because one thing that a lot of people say as far as feedback, which is so appreciative, is y'all got something unique. Like, this is great.
Yeah.
The brand, the purpose, the focus. So it's like, yeah, we know. So let's grow. Like,
We know.
That should be on a shirt.
I know. That was a bar right there. We know. So let's grow.
So I think we really touched on some amazing things in this episode, in this check-in. I hope whoever's watching this provided some insight if you're trying to really build your brand, you want to start something, and this provided insight into how we work, the things that we do behind the scenes that people don't see. So yeah, in our normal tradition, we're going to drop some gems. So what gems do you all have for somebody who is trying to start a brand and need some encouraging words?
I'm going to piggyback off what you said, Tanina, because I think like it's so important. And I think us building our brand has really made me want to focus more on supporting small businesses and seeing how they have their growth mindset and plans and everything. So I'll say funding is fundamental. So support your small businesses, support the first gens, and we're going to pour right back into y'all. Period.
Yeah, definitely. I want to say passion over everything. Like, your passion should drive you. Like, your passion should be greater than, there's a small obstacle in my way. Like, your passion should overcome that. So as long as you still have passion for what you're doing and it's fun to you and you love it and you wake up in the morning and it's on your mind, like I say, like, let that override everything else. Because there's times where like or I don't want to speak for y'all, but like sometimes you're kind of just thinking like, dang, like, should we still keep it gets disappointing sometimes, but that little bit of hope, that little bit of passion, like that should drive you to, become even greater.
So for people who are planning to work in a group setting or even just with a team, well, you're going to have a team for any business if you want to grow. So I would say just leaving your ego at the door, because I think a lot of reasons why group brands or teams break up is because people, I guess, want to be at the forefront when it's really more of a group effort to get things done, or even just being open to other people's opinions and other people's ideas maybe even that would not even agree with your idea. You have to be able to, not have an ego when it comes to, listening to people or like thinking your idea is the best, or, like just not taking things like that personally. So.
I love that. I would say hold yourself accountable. If you want to grow, you're going to have to put some action behind your words. Like, the vision planning and everything is really, really great, but you have to do something about it. Don't just be sitting on your dreams. Just start it. Things do not have to be perfect. You're growing and growing the more that you do something. Where you're at today is not going to be where you're at a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. Your brand could completely transform. You can even change the name or something like that. So I would just say, just keep grinding, keep going, and just start. Don't stop.